Hi, my name is Akash Grewal. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I like to call myself a positive, driven, and hopefully fun volleyball player. Right now, I'm actually looking to apply for master's programs. I'm hoping to go into counseling psychology so that I can work clinically with patients, and then I also want to do my own research as well. Sport in general has always played a big role in my life. My parents would tell me that I had way too much energy, which was great for me, not so great for them. Basically, any sport you could think of, they had me playing. I thought I was going to be a soccer player. That's what I wanted to do, but it was kind of in grade 11 that I decided maybe I'll go the volleyball route. It's definitely an added bonus that UBC is in Vancouver because my family is here, which is great. But the real reason I chose UBC was because of the pristine reputation it has, both academically and athletically. But I wanted to study psychology, and UBC is very highly regarded for their program here. And of course, their volleyball team speaks for themselves. UBC is one of the most decorated programs in Canada. So the idea of going there was just like a dream that I've always been thinking about. And to be able to call myself a Thunderbird is such a privilege. It's definitely a long season. That's one part about being in Canada West is we play every weekend, twice a week, which is a lot at times. But I don't know, I think taking breaks when we needed it was so important. So some Mondays we would just take off, which was very much needed, not just athletically, but also academically. And keeping each other accountable, very important. I know my teammates have my back and I have theirs. There's nothing like winning a national championship. Pure joy with people that work so hard and we do it together. So it's very special. I had a bit of a moment of shock. I remember looking at our bench and being like, oh my gosh. And then seeing it was Victoria Dacre, our libero, and my pepper partner forever and always. That she came running and I think I was just so scared that she was gonna tumble me over. And then just pure joy. I think I kept my medal around my neck for a little longer than I should have, wearing it on the plane with my hat. When I think of our team, the word family comes to my mind. Going into nationals, I know, as I've been saying, there's a common thread of I can count on my teammates and I hope they can count on me. But also knowing each of our roles and focusing on team morale is so important and brings us all together. But yeah, just knowing our roles, accepting them, working so hard at them so that we do each and every one with excellence and keeping each other accountable makes us very special. I don't call myself necessarily a leadership in the vocal sense, but I try to instill that more in my practices and how I exude my energy to my teammates. Just normalizing the fact that it's not easy being a varsity athlete. We think it's so fun and we get so much there's so much glory to it and we get the gear, but it's really days in, days out hard work, and you really have to really want it if you want to perform and play at your best. I would say there's certain pillars that everyone's inevitably going to face at some point. Number one, playtime. Everyone wants to play, and not everyone, I would say almost no one is going to get the amount they want at some time. But of course, we're playing for our team, not for ourselves. So finding the way to balance that, our own needs and the needs of our team. That was one mental health challenge that I faced, but hopefully is working out now. Another one is with injury. Once again, it's inevitable at some point, but just understanding how to cope with that and take care of yourself before you do necessarily putting in too much effort into the practice if you're not necessarily emotionally or physically there yet. When I was in grade 10, I had a brain injury that severely impacted my ability possibly to return to sport. And of course, that was in a very pivotal time when you had to start reaching out to schools, and of course that put a lot of pressure on me because I thought I was maybe behind the curve in that way, and also missing school as well for a whole semester and having to catch up on that. And that definitely, even in my own beliefs of self-efficacy, which is another reason that I'm so passionate about mental health, because I understand how important it is in our daily lives, but also when we're in moments of adversity. And knowing that beach volleyball and volleyball was a way that I was able to cope with and understand my process of the injury I went through and return back to the people I loved spending time with and my communities. It made it a lot easier to become the person I was before my injury through sport, because it was such an important part of me that I didn't realize until after it was taken away from me. Of course, it comes from personal experience. Like at times I've faced my own mental health challenges, as we all do. But I also noticed that, like personally, when I think of from my mindset, I've always seen life in a very positive way, and I assume everyone else does too. But the thing is life isn't always as happy as we think it is. But finding ways to maybe find like those moments of joy, or even just like coping with what we're going through in that moment, is so important. Because if we're able to do that, we can live such rich and beautiful lives. It was definitely a very busy summer for me, but I loved every minute of it. I did 7 tournaments, I had 5 jobs, I was on 3 committees, and I had 1 internship. It was actually my 3rd summer playing for Team Canada beach volleyball. The tryout happens every year. You head to Toronto, go to the tryout. If you make it, you stay there for 4 months, but it's a great opportunity. The coach, Mark Gatto, I've been working with him for 2 years now, and it's just a great environment, a great way to train, meet partners for possibly like NORCECA events and Olympic qualification tournaments. So it's a great experience just to learn more about volleyball and pursue a sport I love. Basically, my jobs was I was a mental health ambassador for Volleyball BC. So I was working on projects to support awareness about mental health and running workshops, things like that. I was on the committee for beach volleyball, Team Canada. So focusing on meeting with the group and seeing how we can improve the sport in Canada. I was coaching beach volleyball with Leaside Volleyball Club in Toronto, right at Ashbridges Bay where we were training. I was a dog walker for a little bit. I'm a Body Energy Club ambassador that if anyone knows me, they know I talk about it way too much, but go to Body Energy Club, best smoothies in, I'd say, the world. I also was part of committees such as the Youth Advisory Committee for BC Children's Hospital. We were working on different projects to support equity, diversity, and inclusion. And Team Canada Beach Volleyball, I guess you could count that as a job. I was also working with Dr. Karwana. She's a researcher and he practices at BC Children's Hospital. And we were working on a research paper there on the acceptability of caregiver substance use screening within pediatric healthcare. So that was another project I was doing. The internship was with Dr. Snodgrass and Duff. They were actually 2 mentors that I met through Volleyball Canada. They were running a workshop for us. And it was such a privilege to be able to work with them. I learned so much more about mental health, counseling psychology, and applying different theories that I'd learned through my courses when I had the opportunity to work, hopefully professionally, with patients myself. Basically with Volleyball BC, my job was to run certain workshops for players and teammates. I also worked on making pamphlets so that people could have like easy, accessible information about how to reach mental health support. That could be related to sport or just their lives in general. And then there was also the Team BC volleyball team, and they train every summer. And my job was basically to fill out certain, I made little articles for them to read so that they had more information about what to expect coming into Team BC, how that could positively or maybe negatively affect their mental health, and different ways to cope with that effectively. I know what I need to do to get where I want to be, so I'm very goal-driven. I like to set little things on my board and focus on that thing at the time, and that works for me. But then at other times, it's just if I need little motivating tidbits, it could be, okay, like if I do this and this, then I get to go to the beach and I'll enjoy the sunset, or simple things like that. Finding beauty in the mundane, that makes me very happy. If I put something in my mind, it's a lot easier for me to do.